Okay. Now, let's okay. Generally speaking, steel needs a sufficient amount of chrome to develop strong corrosion resistance. That is why stainless steel grades usually contain significant chrome content. For example, the 304 stainless steel, one of the most common stainless steel grades, contains around the 18% chrome. Yes, 18% chrome, and the 316 stainless steel also contains around 3 uh, around 16 to 18 chrome, together with uh, nickel and moly. Uh, yes, the 316 stainless steel also contains around 16 to 18% from together with nickel and molybdenum. Molybdenum. So when you look at the stainless steel, remember behind the corrosion resistance there is chrome, and behind the chrome supply there is ferrochrome. Yes. Now let's go deeper because simply saying chrome prevents rust, but is not enough because simply saying chrome prevents rust isn't enough. A steel producer needs to understand what busy value does the chrome create. You can imagine you are producing the stainless steel products. Your customer may use your products for food processing equipment, chemical pipelines, automotive components, and industrial machinery. Yes, what do they expect? They don't simply expect metal. They expect reliability. Yes, they expect reliability. They want a paper that doesn't fail, a component that lasts longer, and equipment that can operate safely. So when Chrome improves the corrosion resistance, the final result is not only better chemistry. The final result is the longer service life, fewer replacements, and lower maintenance cost, better customer satisfaction. This is why ferrochrome is not just a raw material. It's a material that creates values throughout the entire supply chain. Mm, now, uh, now let me ask you another question. If Chrome is so important, does that mean all ferrochrome is the same? Of course, the answer is no. Yeah, no, not all ferrochrome is the same. And that is where many buyers make mistakes. Two ferrochrome products may both see chrome 60%, but they may perform differently. Yes, they may perform differently because ferrochrome quality depends on many factors, including the chrome content, the carbon content, the silicon content, and the phosphorus, and the sulfur, the particle size, and the consistency. And this leads us to the next important topic, different types of ferrochrome, because not every steel plant needs the same grade. Let me choose the next one. Mm,也不太清晰。The picture isn't very isn't clear, and okay. Although it's not clear, but I will uh, explain clear. Yes. Huh. Okay. Um. Now, let's talk about a very important topic: different types of ferrochrome. Because when customers contact suppliers, one of the first questions is usually, what grade of ferrochrome do you supply? Or what is different between high carbon ferrochrome and low carbon ferrochrome? And this is actually where many new buyers become more confused. Yes, they may say high carbon ferrochrome, the low carbon ferrochrome, the medial carbon ferrochrome, and nitrogen ferrochrome. Yes. and then they think, okay, there are all ferrochrome, so what is the real difference? The answer is the biggest difference is not only the chrome content. Yes, the biggest difference is the carbon level and the application purpose. Let me explain the simple way. Imagine you are building a house. You are building a house. Different tools have a different purpose. A hammer and a uh, screwdriver are both tools, but you can't always replace one with another. The same idea applies to ferrochrome. Yes, different ferrochrome grades are designed for different steelmaking needs. Today we will mainly discuss four categories: the high carbon ferrochrome, medium carbon ferrochrome, low carbon ferrochrome, and nitrogen ferrochrome. Yes. Let's start with the most widely used type, the high carbon ferrochrome, also called uh, HCFECR. This is the simple 那叫什么缩写？Simple speaking, it's ferrochrome with a higher carbon content. Yes, it's ferrochrome with uh, higher carbon content. Typical characteristics: the chrome around uh, 50, 50 to 65%, and the carbon usually several percent depending on grade, such as the 6%, the 8%. Yes, and silicon controlled according to requirement. Usually, the 1.5%, 2%. Yes. Now the question. Now the question is, why would steel plants accept higher carbon? Isn't carbon a problem? Isn't carbon a problem? Uh, yes, this is also a very good question. Yeah, because many beginners think low carbon is always better, but in meteorology, it's not always simple. The right answer is the best material depends on the final steel grade. Yes, for some stainless steel production, the carbon level is acceptable. For example, many standard stainless steel grades can use high carbon ferrochrome as a part of their raw material because during wait, because during steel making, carbon can be adjusted through refining process. So if the final steel grade allows the carbon, using high carbon ferrochrome can be a very economical choice. Yes, the very economical choice. And maybe you are curious, why do buyers like a high carbon ferrochrome? There are several reasons. The first reason is, of course, the cost efficiency. High carbon ferrochrome is usually more economical compared with lower carbon grade. For large volume stainless steel production, The cost control is extremely important. Imagine stainless steel production making thousands of tons every month. Even a small price difference per ton can create a significant impact. And the second reason is the availability. Yes, high carbon has a large global production base. It's widely traded international. This make sourcing easier. Yes, and then the third reason is the suitable for mainstream stainless steel. Many common stainless steel applications don't require ultra low carbon. So high carbon ferrochrome can provide the necessary chrome at a competitive cost. So now let's move to another question. When is high carbon not suitable? We just talked about the high carbon, why buyers like high carbon, and what is high carbon. Now let's talk about when is high carbon ferrochrome not suitable. If the final steel requires the very low carbon, the higher corrosion resistance, and the special quality control, the high carbon ferrochrome may create problems because removing carbon later can increase production cost, the refining difficulty, the processing time, and the low carbon ferrochrome is one of the most important products in the ferrochrome market. The basic idea is very simple. Low carbon ferrochrome provides chrome while keeping carbon very low. The typical characteristics is its chrome usually 60% or above depending on grade, and the carbon often below 0.1%, or even lower depending on specification. So now the question, why is low carbon so important? Because some steel grades are extremely sensitive to carbon. Let's imagine, yes, imagine again. Let's imagine you are producing a high quality stainless steel product. Your customer requires excellent corrosion resistance, stable mechanical properties, and clean steel structure. Yes, if the carbon is too high, it may affect the performance of the steel. Yes, it may affect the performance of the steel. Um, okay. Here may someone will be curious. Why does carbon affect stainless steel? This is a very important point. Let's explain slide. In some stainless steel systems, too much carbon can combine with the chrome. This can reduce the amount of chrome available for corrosion protection. And what happens? The corrosion resistance may decrease for products used in depending environments. This is this is unacceptable. For example, the chemical equipment, the for from the high-end industrial application. Yes. So steel makers need the chrome, but they need the chrome without adding too much carbon. This is exactly where the low carbon ferrochrome becomes valuable. And now let's answer a question that buyers always ask. Why is the low carbon ferrochrome so much more expensive? The reason is production difficulty. Yes, because reducing carbon isn't simple. It requires additional refining process, the better process control, more energy consumption, and more complicated production steps. You can think about the uh, purification. Generally speaking, the more you need to remove unwanted elements, the more processing is required. It's similar to water purification. The basic filtration is easy, but producing ultra pure water requires much more technology. The same principle applies to ferrochrome. Yes. So when customers buy low carbon ferrochrome, they are not only paying for the chrome, they are paying for lower impurity level, better control, higher processing requirements. Yes, that's why the ferrochrome is uh, much more expensive. Okay, now we have talked about the high carbon ferrochrome and the low carbon ferrochrome. Next, let's talk briefly about medium carbon ferrochrome. The medium carbon ferrochrome is between high carbon ferrochrome and low carbon ferrochrome. It provides the chrome and control the carbon level. It's used when customers need the lower carbon than high carbon ferrochrome, but don't require extremely low carbon. So it becomes a balance between cost and quality requirements. You can think of it as a middle option, just like its name, the middle carbon ferrochrome, medium carbon ferrochrome. If high carbon ferrochrome is cost focused, and low carbon ferrochrome is maximum carbon control. The medium carbon ferrochrome is a balanced solution. Yes, the medium ferrochrome is a balanced solution between high carbon ferrochrome and low carbon ferrochrome. And now the another important product, the nitrogen ferrochrome. This product is partially interesting because it combines the chrome, the nitrogen, and someone may be curious why is nitrogen? Of course, because nitrogen can improve uh, certain steel properties. including the strength, the corrosion resistance, and the alloy optimization. Yes, the strength, the corrosion resistance, and alloy optimization. For some stainless steel grades, nitrogen is a valuable alloy element. Instead of adding nitrogen separately, steelmakers can use nitrogen bearing ferrochrome. This creates a more efficient alloying addition. And now some people may ask, what is the difference between nitrogen ferrochrome and silicon manganese nitride, just like the last live stream? This is actually a very good question. The simple explain is nitrogen ferrochrome focus on chrome and nitrogen. The silicon manganese nitride focus on silicon manganese and nitrogen. So the choice depends on the steel composition and the production goal. Yes. So now let's summarize this section. If you are purchasing ferrochrome, don't only ask what is your chrome percentage. This is not enough. So you should also ask what is the carbon content? What steel grade will you produce? What are your impurity limits? And what is your uh, what is your required partial size? What is your target production cost? Because the correct question isn't which ferrochrome is the best. The correct question is which ferrochrome is most suitable for your production. And this is exactly the difference between an experienced buyer and a beginner buyer. Experienced buyer don't just buy products, they buy solutions. I hope more and more buyers choose to buy solutions. Okay, now just have a rest, a short rest. 不上镜。Okay, now let's move to another very important topic. When when buying ferrochrome, what specifications should you really care about? Many new buyers makes a very common mistake. They only focus on one number, the chrome content. For example, the chrome 60%, the chrome 65%, or the 68%, and they think higher chrome is better for chrome, or the product with the highest chrome must be the best choice. But in reality, professing buyers know chrome content is only one part of the story, because Ferrochrome isn't only about adding chrome; it's about controlling the entire steel making process. A good ferrochrome specification normally includes the chrome, the carbon, the silicon, phosphorus, and the sulfur, uh, uh, even nitrogen and cathode size. Today, let's explain each one. Let's start with the most obvious one, the chrome content. Chrome is the main valuable element in the ferrochrome. That is the reason steel plants buy ferrochrome. Generally speaking, higher chrome content means more chrome is introduced into steel portion of ferrochrome. For example, if you compare material A, the Chrome 60, the material B is Chrome 68%. The higher Chrome material can provide more Chrome units. Now you may ask, does higher Chrome always means better? Of course, the answer is not necess- necessary. The answer is not necessarily because steel making is about balance. A steel producer uh, doesn't simply want the highest chrome. They want the right chrome level at the right cost, with the right carbon and impurity levels. You can also imagine you are buying a car. A more powerful engine isn't always better. If you only drive in the city, a huge engine may increase your cost without giving extra value. The same idea applies to far chrome. The best, yes, that's chrome content. Now let's talk about the carbon. That is one of the most important factors in ferrochrome, especially for stainless steel producers. Many beginners ask why does carbon matter so much? Because carbon affects the final steel properties. We know carbon itself isn't always bad. Actually, carbon can increase the hardness and the strength. In some steels, carbon is useful, but in stainless steel production, the carbon must often be carefully controlled because excessive carbon can react with the chrome. This can form chrome carbon. This can form chrome carbide. Now let's make the easier to understand. We know the Chrome is like a security guard. The job of Chrome is to protect steel from corrosion. But if Chrome gets occupied by another reaction, there may be less Chrome available to create a corrosion protection. Yes, the result is the stainless steel may lose some corrosion resistance. This is why some higher performance stainless steel grades require low carbon ferrochrome. And depends on steel grades. This is important. Not every customer needs low carbon ferrochrome. For example, a standard stainless steel producer may use high carbon ferrochrome because cost is important, carbon requirement is acceptable. But a manufacturer producing chemical equipment, precision, precision stainless components, and special corrosion resistant material they may require low carbon ferrochrome. So again, the correct question isn't the low carbon is the low carbon ferrochrome better? The correct question is do I need low carbon ferrochrome for my application? Yes. Okay. We just introduced the chrome and carbon. Now let's talk about the silicon. Many buyers under uh, estimate the silicon because the silicon is not the silicon still matters. Silicon can influence the oxidation, steel chemistry adjustment, and overall alloy balance. We know during the steelmaking, oxygen control is very important. Too much oxygen can create unwanted inclusions. Silicon has a strong affinity with oxygen. That means it can help remove oxygen during certain process. However, too much silicon may also create challenges depending on the steel grade. Therefore, silicon needs to be controlled and not. And for phosphorus and sulfur, because of the uh, time limit, we don't introduce more. But I want to briefly talk about the nitrogen. Yes, this applies mainly to nitrogen ferrochrome. Nitrogen content determines how much nitrogen can be introduced into steel. But again, higher nitrogen isn't automatically better. The steel producer needs the correct nitrogen level, stable recovery, and suitable steel composition because too much of any element can disturb the balance. Yes. Hmm. So, mm, so now we know what a ferrochrome is, different grades and different specification. But the next question is where is ferrochrome actually used? Why does the stainless steel depend so heavily on ferrochrome? Why do different industries need different chrome level? Mm, the biggest application uh, for the ferrochrome is the stainless steel production. We just mentioned many times. Yes, because the stainless steel production consumes the majority of all global ferrochrome supply. We know the stainless steel so popular because it combines several important properties: the corrosion resistance, the strength, the durability, good appearance, and a long survival life. But as we discussed earlier, the key element behind the corrosion resistance is chrome. Without enough chrome, steel behaves more like ordinary carbon steel. It can rust more easily. So chrome isn't just an added element, it's the function of stainless steel performance. And okay, now let's talk about one of the most famous stainless steel grades, the 304 stainless steel. Many people in daily life have used this stainless steel product without knowing it. For example, the kitchen equipment, the food containers, the household products, and the industrial equipment. It's very popular because it offers a good balance between corrosion resistance and mechanical performance and cost. And a typical 304 stainless steel composition contains approximately 18% chrome, around 8% nickel. This is why this stainless grade is often called 18, 18, 8 stainless steel. And another, of course, mm, another important grade is the 316 stainless steel. It provides better corrosion resistance in more demanding environments. Where is the 316 used? For example, the marine equipment, the chemical processing equipment, medical application, and pharmaceutical equipment. Because these environments are more aggressive. For example, the seawater contains salt. The chemical plants may handle corrosive substance. The medical equipment requires high cleanliness. In this situation, still needs a stronger protection. The chrome remains important, and other alloying elements such as molybdenum may also be added. Again, the message is different application require different steel designs, and different steel designs require different ferroalloy solution. Other application such as automotive industry and chemical industry uh, and the construction and infrastructure, energy industry. Those many industries need different ferrochrome grades. 哇，这部分太多了。And mm, the now we just introduce the part of the ferrochrome, but the time limit but the time is limited. Is limit. Yes. There not many time for us to introduce more. So if you are interested in Ferrochrome, and if you want to buy ferrochrome, whatever the high carbon ferrochrome, medium carbon ferrochrome, low carbon ferrochrome, or nitrogen ferrochrome, just contact us. You can check our website. Yes, the website is www.dexferroalloy.com to leave your inquiry or leave your question. You can also contact us directly by email or WhatsApp, just the info at titans.com or the WhatsApp. You can plan to purchase this ferroalloys. Just contact us to leave your inquiry or and questions, and we can share our um, we can uh, we will reply to you as soon as possible to answer your questions and help you and support your business with our Ferrochrome solutions. Yes, and in the end, let me show you our factory's videos. Hope it can uh, it it can be a reference for you. Okay, and thank you very much for joining today's live stream. Hope uh, and hope we can support your business. Yes, and thank you again for your time. Have a great day. Bye bye. Hmm?